the next concept is area of a circle, and that just means how much space is occupied in any given circle. So the formula for area of a circle is to take the pi and multiply it to whatever your radius is squared. Now with circumference we were able to work back and forth with whether we had the diameter or the radius, but with the area of a circle you have to get to the radius. You can't use the diameter and the radius either way. You have to use the radius only. So finding the area of a circle with a radius of 10, the area formula is pi times the radius squared. And if the radius is 10 centimeters, then the area would be 10 squared times pi. And 10 squared is equal to 10 times 10. So the area would be 100 pi. And in terms of a decimal, we would take 100, multiply it to pi, and that equals 314.2. And we want both answers this time. Alright, so number 2, this time they give us the diameter. And like I said, you can't go back and forth between radius and diameter. You have to have the radius for the area formula. So remember that the diameter, if you have a diameter of 2, then half of it is 1 and the other half is 1. So the radius of this circle would be 1. So the area would be pi times the radius squared, or 1 squared times pi. And 1 squared is just 1. So the area would be just pi, or the value of pi, which is 3.14. So we can use both answers. Okay, working backwards. Number 3, we're going to work backwards. So in this time we want to find the diameter of a circle with the area of 74. So area of our circle is pi times the radius squared. They gave us the area was 74. That equaled pi times the radius squared. Our job here is going to be to find the radius, and once we find the radius we can multiply it by 2 to get the length of the diameter. So we're going to take 74 and divide out pi, because that'll leave us with radius squared. So 74 divided by pi equals 23.555. So we'll do 23.555 equals our radius squared. And then to undo the square of the radius, we're going to take the square root of both sides. So we're going to take the square root of 23.555. That is 4.9. So the radius here is 4.9. But it wanted the diameter, so the diameter would be 2 times the radius. So I would take that number and multiply it by 2. So I would get 9.7. Or if you rounded early, 4.9 times 2, 9.8. Okay, so I'd like for you to pause the video and try number 4 on your own and see if you get what I get. Okay, so you should have gotten the radius is 5.3. If you didn't, raise your hand or ask a neighbor. Okay, when you're looking for the area of just a certain sector, this is called a sector, just a portion of the circle. When you're looking for the area of a sector, it's going to be a proportion just like you did when you were looking for arc length. But this time, what we know is the area of a whole circle, pi r squared, and we know the degrees of a whole circle, 360. So the area of your sector, which we call x, is going to be proportionate to the arc measure out of 360. Okay, so we're going to try number 1 together. If we're looking for a shaded sector, we want to set up the proportion. The sector over area of a circle equals the arc measure of that sector over 360, which is the total measures of all the angles in a circle centered around a point. So x is what we're looking for. In this case, the radius is 3. So pi times the radius squared would be pi times 3 squared, which equals the arc measure. So the arc measure is equal to the central angle, which is 57 out of 360 degrees possible. Okay, so bringing it down, x over 3 squared, which is 9, times pi, equals 57 divided by 360. We're going to multiply 9 and 57. Which is 513 times pi, because we haven't put pi in the calculator yet. And that equals 360 times x. So now we're going to divide both sides by 360. 513 divided by 360 gives me 1.425 times pi, or 4.5 if we put pi in our calculator. So the area of this sector is going to be either 1.425 pi, and it's inches squared. Remember, area is square units. Or you can say 4.5 inches squared. Okay, so I'd like for you to pause the video and try number 2 on your own. Okay, so you should have gotten 12.5 pi centimeters squared, or 39.3 centimeters squared. If you didn't, raise your hand or ask a neighbor.